Yeah. Good morning. It is a pleasure for me to address you today on behalf of the ILO. In the same way that water moves through nature, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development cuts across the pillars of the United Nations. This means that we can no longer function in silos, separating peace and security, human rights and justice, or development. Are we up to that task? I believe we are. But it is urgent that we develop common strategies to achieve several goals simultaneously. We need to build bridges between all UN entities and their partners, government ministries, enterprises, worker organizations, and the wider civil society. The SDGs are revolutionary in that they are universal and integrated. By adopting this approach, the international community recognized that the actions required to implement one goal are also necessary to accomplish other goals. As the UN Water Synthesis Report on SDG 6 states, combining the three dimensions of sustainable development, social, economic, and environmental, is complex and requires an integrated approach that brings together key actors across traditional institutional arrangements and new types of partnerships. Governments will need to establish intersectoral mechanisms and procedures to address these issues, including partnerships, coordinating committees, evaluation criteria, and coordination and consultation mechanisms. That is what we need to do to advance simultaneously SDG 8, which promotes full and productive employment and decent work for all, and SDG 6, which seeks to ensure universal access to water and sanitation. As Guy Ryder, the Director General of the ILO, stated in his message for World Water Day 2016, the fact is that water is work. But why did he say this? Several examples illustrate. First, broad-based water resources interventions may lead to local employment and provide national, regional, and local benefits for all, including for the most vulnerable people on Earth. Water management is highly labor-intensive, and the employment impact can be reinforced by the construction of new water infrastructure and its maintenance. Climate adaptation measures, which include the construction of newer and greener water systems, can encourage the demand for both high and low skilled employment, generating income opportunities. To create more and better jobs, we need national employment policies to improve the functioning of water supply and consumption chains. Improving worker skills in the water sector can lead to more efficiency in that sector and others. Achieving the right sectoral balance between decent and productive jobs on one hand and essential services in the other hand is key. Labor-based, labor-intensive approaches can contribute to restoring and protecting productive capacity of lands, building resilient infrastructure and disaster risk reduction, and at the same time advocating for decent work and sustainable livelihoods. For example, investing in economic activity and job creation in relation to products that require less water would address targets 8.2, 6.4, 13.1, and others. A project implemented by the Haitian government in Gonaïves, supported by the UNDP, the World Food Programme, and the ILO, demonstrated that contractual arrangements with local community organizations are relevant for environmental protection and for preventing the deterioration of eroded catchments. Investing in infrastructure can reduce the burden on women and girls who today are forced to walk long distances to fetch water. This will go a long way to achieving not only targets 6.1 and 8.8, but also 5.4, which seeks to recognize the value of unpaid care and domestic work. This is also the case of sanitation workers who toil in terrible conditions and overall decent work deficits. Recognizing them as workers, formalizing their status as such, and supporting their efforts to organize themselves. In short, decent sanitation requires decent work. Further, policies and actions designed to improve working conditions should include safe access to water, sanitation, and hygiene in all workplaces. 10 ILO conventions and 18 ILO codes of practice guarantee access to water, sanitation, and/or hygiene in the workplace in settings as varied as fishing vessels, farms, and offices. These guarantees would cover a substantial part of the population for most of their waking hours and instill habits which could be replicated in communities. The Wash for Work initiative is a good example of how we can take advantage of the diversity in the international water community for the integration of these goals. As we can see, the SDG agenda presents multiple challenges and opportunities for the international community. Only a one UN approach can help fulfill our responsibility to the planet. Thank you very much.